Hello and welcome to another edition of Stockwatch. So as we get into the middle of the trading week, we're hearing certain companies, aviation companies such as Boeing, Delta, American Airlines, etc. Well, obviously Boeing are the makers of the airlines and American Airlines and Delta are the passenger carriers. But Boeing is saying that it's not looking that it's going to get back to pre-pandemic levels of passengers capacity until 2024. And they even said that this is an early prediction at the moment. It could even actually rise a few more years after that. And long-haul flights to international routes will take longer to recover because obviously people are having more business meetings over voice over internet protocol as well, which is looking like it's been really buoyant, especially for companies like Zoom that have really had a tenfold increase in their communications over the last year. So, if we look at passenger numbers, they fell 60% from the pre-pandemic levels until now, and before the pandemic, you're looking at the whole global aviation sector and tourism made up of 3.6% of the global economy, and this supported over 65 million jobs as well. But what's more interestingly enough is China is set to replace the US as the world's biggest aviation market by 2030, and that's another prediction by Boeing. So that's quite a stark contrast to how we saw pre-pandemic levels before. And just another story I want to pick up on as well. It's been out for a little bit of time, but just want to capitalize on it again, as Delta Airlines are saying that they're going to impose a $200 fine to all those staff and employees who are not vaccinated against the COVID-19 pandemic. It will also only pay sick pay to COVID sufferers that have been double jabbed but still get infected. So you have to say, some companies like United Airlines, Goldman Sachs, Microsoft, Google, etc. Have told staff as well they must be fully jabbed to come to work. So, but you can probably see why, as airline passenger revenue was $5.3 billion in the second quarter for Delta, and this was down more than 50% from the same time before the pandemic started. So you can see that the CEO is really trying to push all stakes to see if they can get a recovery sooner than 2024, especially as the passenger numbers are so low. So the last time I looked on Boeing, we had this choppy dissension at the moment, not really looking to see if it's going to get out of this declining pattern at the moment. Where I'll just zoom it in so we can see a little bit more on the areas of interest. And we're looking at the moment, I'll be looking to see what the outcome is for this cluster of candlesticks at the moment for the past few trading sessions. Are we going to see another push towards the top channel and this will actually pierce the Ichimoku cloud, or are we looking for further detrimental signs for bulls, especially below the 200 psychological region? This is very important because when a stock does fall under quite a psychological handle, then it does weigh heavy, and in turn if it does pierce and push up through a psychological handle, then it does look like it's buoyant and it will keep pushing higher. So for me, I would just be looking to see what the opportunities are on intraday, especially. Again, this cluster of candlesticks is just making me look like the bias is on the downside at the moment, and especially with all the negative news coming out of the aviation industry in general, will we get another move to the upside? We'll have to wait and see. But the first target for me will be the penetration of this lower border of the Ichimoku cloud, roughly about the 215, 216 area, and then if we can push up and maybe have another test at the top border of the Ichimoku cloud. So we'll see if that comes into fruition. And just to look on Delta Airlines, I haven't really looked on them for a while. The last time I looked at them, I was putting some targets in to see if we were going to either hit this bottom or top, but now it looks like we're in this sideways pattern, but the bias is looking on the downside again, and I am expecting another test at this previous low, which is roughly about $37, $38. So if we do, well, it looks like again another psychological level at the $40 mark. If we do not have another test and push, the problem was before when the candlesticks did have this test at $40, it engulfed the Ichimoku cloud, which means it's high volatility, high volume, and in turn it did get weighed down again. So this is what it seems to be at the moment. So I'll just be looking to see if we can get past the $40 mark, push up to about $43, and then the bias would certainly be to the upside, and I'll be expecting another test roughly about $50 at least. So that's what I'll be looking at for the end. Obviously, keep an eye on aviation industry stocks as well, as is very, very important going into the back end of 2021, as it is a big reminder of how much the pandemic has affected the global industry in general, and we'll see how that comes into light with the stock move as well and price action. So that's all from the Stock Watch today. As usual, any comments or queries, please feel free to add them to the post. I'll get back to you as soon as possible, and we'll speak again tomorrow. Bye for now.